Hello and welcome to another episode of Wegbar, where everybody has gone before. It's too hot here in the UK today. It's so hot. We've tried recording this podcast once already, and my computer decided to shut down because it didn't want to record in that heat. You missed some absolute comedy gold in that setup, but no, it's too hot in the UK. You're not allowed Jeffrey's amazing jokes today.
It was a really good joke as well.
It was such a good joke, but you'll never get to hear it now.
Yeah.
Good thing we've got a great episode of Star Trek to talk about to distract us from the blistering heat today, Jeffrey. I say, not at all alluding to anything in particular.
Yeah, well, it's horny track, which is kind of how things were in the 60s, and now we're getting a taste of it in the 1980s.
It sure is. We are watching episode. This is the episode 108 of Star Trek. Star Trek: The Next Generation, season 1, episode 3, The Naked Now. The first non-encounter at Farpoint episode of Star Trek, and they sure did pick an episode to throw you into the deep end with this crew.
It sure is, for all the things we can say about this episode, an episode of Star Trek.
It sure is an episode that might have made sense a few seasons in when you know who these characters are, or when the show had decided who these characters are. It's a whole episode of, oh, everyone's acting so much unlike themselves, in an episode where none of the characters have really had a chance to have characters yet.
Yeah, we've spent an hour and a half with these characters, and really only with Picard and Q. Like, we haven't really delved into anybody else apart from the fact that I think Data's trying to whistle in the first episode or something. Like we have no foundation against which to compare everybody's drunk to.
Yes. Yeah. Something I noticed that I've only really thought of, I think, because we've been bouncing back and forth between Star Trek seasons as much as we have. If you watch TNG the whole way through, it's really easy to feel like Picard doing his voiceover intros is a stylistic choice. You watch it on a bad episode from season 1, and it's really easy to go, this feels like this was a crutch because they couldn't think how to naturally start a story.
Yeah, well, it's very much like we've had this world-ending, universe-ending situation and encounter at Farpoint, and now somehow we need to get to episode of the week formula. So we're just going to have Patrick Stewart in a booth somewhere saying we're on our way to find this ship. They've been doing something near a big sexy star.
We're off to go see a science, and it's near a big hot thing. I hope science goes okay. The first half of this episode is really slow in getting to the point. The crew gets a message from this other research ship, and it's just a woman inviting them to a flirty, sexy orgy. Just like, oh, come on, come take off all your clothes with us. Ooh.
Well, I mean, it's she's inviting them to a big blowout. Wink, wink.
Yes, wink, wink. Oh no, they all got blown out of the ship. Not sucked out of the ship. That's different. You see, they got blown out the ship. I love the explosive decompression that happened on this spaceship blew all of or a lot of the bodies out into space, but left the corridors full of party supplies completely untouched.
Well, you'd also think that if that many people got blown into space, you would be able to see it, right? Like, it wouldn't just be this big shock. It's like, oh, something happened over there. There was some jet of gas through. Like, there's a view screen. Like, what are you seeing?
Well, they keep being very surprised that no one is alive on the ship, despite before they arrive there, Worf goes, there's no life signs left on the ship. But like 3 times on the ship, they're like, oh, no one's left alive. It's like, well, yeah, that's what the no life signs were telling you.
Well, I mean, that is the rhythm of this entire episode, right?
Yeah.
So we start ourselves like everyone's acting weird on the ship, right? Like, you've literally got one assumes the captain of the ship being like, hey, in a sultry voice, hey, come over here, we're going to have a big party. And like, their immediate reaction isn't, okay, there's something odd here, we need to be careful. It's like, nah, just get over there. Just go see what's happening.
Yeah. No worries about like breathing in contaminated like disease air or anything. It's fine. It's fine. I do love The frozen naked bodies is a choice.
Oh yeah, there's like proper
In
bum in that scene, isn't there?
Yeah, they don't shy away
Yeah.
from the frozen naked bodies. I do love the really cheesy music when they open the shower and the body falls out. It's not tonally appropriate soundtrack choice at all.
Well, yeah, and the body falls out, and Geordie's just like touching it again. Like, there's something going on here. We don't know what it is. Oh, I better just touch this frozen, rigid lady. I'm sure nothing will happen because
Yeah,
of that.
indeed. I also really love that when they head back to the main ship, they're like, we've set the transporter to full decontamination mode. Why is that not a default setting? If you could just decontaminate everyone who comes through the teleporter, surely you always do that?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a lot. Again, there's a lot of things that you think would be the default in at
Yeah,
this point that just aren't. But yeah, there's so much of like we've done so many tests, we've done as if it's a chore, as if it's something we oh we wouldn't normally do. It's
yeah,
like if someone's going over to an unfamiliar environment, surely you're always going to decontaminate. You're always going to run tests.
yeah.
I don't really understand. Like Crusher in particular is always just like, oh yeah, well I guess we did this thing, which is a bit pointless. It's like no, like you're an exploration vessel. Surely you actually have to make sure you're not bringing anything back with you, and not just assume
Mm,
that because your scanners say there's nothing wrong that there's nothing wrong.
yeah, yeah. There's clearly something wrong regardless, even though like the decontamination thing has happened. Geordie is sweating. Riker's like points out Geordie's acting unlike himself. The audience obviously has no reference point for this, so Riker has to baby-faced Riker has to spell it out to us. But it's like Geordie having emotional swings. That's unlike his very well-established character of stoic. I was watching Geordie have the sweats and be erratic. I know that the reference point that the show keeps making, or mostly makes, is alcohol for what's happening to the crew. There is the one time they imply it's like cocaine, kind of. Um, I was looking at like this as Geordie's got the MDMA sweats.
Well, so my issue with this idea that it's just like intoxication. They say it constant. It's like yeah, but
Yeah,
everybody is really horny and having a great time. Where are the
and
sad drunks, right?
everyone is have well. I would argue Geordie has a moment of the sad drunk. Jumping ahead a little bit, that moment where he's just stood in a dark conference room alone, and Tasha Yar comes in and he does his speech of like, I know that my eyesight is technically better than yours, but I can't see a sunset or a rainbow anymore, and I better isn't necessarily good. I want normal eyes, not my eyes. Like that is 2 a.m. sad drunk talk right
Yeah,
there.
that's also like well, he's the disabled character, so he can be the sad one.
Yeah. Yeah, he's gonna be the one to have a I'm sad I'm not normal disabled character moment. But like they are so inconsistent with what kind of intoxication they are experiencing. Because like, yeah, a lot of it is I'm hot and sweating and I want to party and I want to have sex. That's a bit you've had some ecstasy. Sometimes it's a little bit drunkenness, sometimes it's a little bit of the slurring. Often this is cocaine intoxication. I would argue that Wesley Crusher is a 10-year-old on cocaine.
Well, no,
Um,
he is drunk on science.
he is drunk on science. The sheer amount of I can do everything. I am invincible. I am nothing can stop me, and I should be in charge of everything. I should be the ruler of the ship. Feels very cocaine confidence.
Well, just to kind of wind it back a bit, I think that the major issue that hits me immediately, right, is that
Mm,
so we've had this situation. We've already established that Geordie's just touching everything, and then
yes.
Riker's sitting there going, "Well, yeah, Geordie's something's not right with Geordie," and they've just got him sitting on the bed. They're gathered round him. Like it's good to
Yeah.
know that in 300 years' time or 200 years' time, people are going to be as apathetic towards PPI as they are now.
Oh God.
There's
Can
no
I?
force field. They're just
Yeah.
sitting there like, oh, are you okay? Touching
Yeah.
him, breathing him in. It's like, what are you doing? Like, and
Can
Crusher's
I
just
tell you
there.
the most?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah. my most annoying thing about that, the reason I hate that the most is they established toward the end of the episode physical contact spreads whatever this is, which A is completely incongruous with how they're explaining what this is and why it's happening, because it's seemingly like caused by the gravity of the star or something.
Oh, it's water. No,
But
it's the
well,
same
no,
thing as
it's
the
the gravity affects the water in your
yeah
body and makes the carbon do something so you're drunk or
yeah. So it
whatever.
interacts with your
It's not
brain or
meant
something. Yeah,
Yeah, it's not meant to be passed by touch. But even if you say it's passed by touch, because like Dr. Crusher panics when she goes, Riker, you've just touched me, and you were touched by someone who was infected. We're both infected. He's touching Geordie so much in this opening scene and not getting infected. There are so many times where people touch an infected person and don't get infected in this episode. They don't follow their own established rules for what the infection vector is, and it annoys me so much.
yeah. But I think on Riker, I mean, I really like that throughout Riker is barely affected because like he's just like that. Like this is just a Monday morning to him. Like he's just like,
Yeah.
an illness that makes me super horny. Well, I can't get any hornier than I already am.
But yeah, Riker remembers something very vague about a person showering in their clothes, so he's like, Data, read everything that's ever existed for references to a person showering in their clothes. Just no pointers, just every bit of data that's ever existed.
Yeah, and
Um,
but then also later when they narrow it down, Riker has to be reminded that history exists, right? I think it must be Data says something about
history,
history, and he goes,
that's the category.
"History? Yeah, I was reading a history book." It's like, well, no shit, because like, what else are you going to be
Yeah.
reading?
um, but yeah, Geordie wanders off, flapping his hands, being like, "Oh, I have hands. They can open and close. Look at those."
Yeah, it touches
Um,
Yar's face a lot because
yeah,
I guess
a
that's
lot
what
of
blind
touching
people
Yo's
do.
face. Yeah. Goes to visit Wesley Crusher, which at this point in the episode, it's already pretty well established. Whatever this infection is, it makes you horny and inebriated. I don't like that Wesley's is the first place he goes when infected. That it was ultimately fine, and they needed to set up Wesley getting infected. It felt really weird to me as a choice when that's all we knew about the end game of this infection.
Yeah, there's a few problematic moments in this episode. And I think that's one of them. Is like
Yeah,
Geordie is the only
yeah.
person who arguably isn't kind of horny about everything, but the first place he
Thank
goes is
heavens.
the
Yeah.
quarters of a child.
Yes. So Wesley has the MacGuffin of the episode. They try and make it seem like it's a really fancy sci-fi device, but it's like it's a tape recorder. He's been like sentence splicing the captain to make it sound like he says things. And I know it's slightly fancier. It's it's basically I've been recording the captain so that I can do the saddest thing possible, which is sit in my bedroom alone, playing recordings where it sounds like the captain's giving me orders, so I can pretend I've been told to do things by the captain.
The captain won't let me on the bridge, and yet somehow I've been surreptitiously recording him saying things
What
he
is that
would say
the
on the bridge.
com?
I assume it's from the com, right? But at the same
He says
time,
explicitly he's been and that's the thing, you don't know when the intercom's coming.
yeah.
He's gonna be like when I was 15 sat by the radio waiting for a song I liked to come on so I could press the tape recorder, be like, I'll get that
All
one.
right, Laura, you're aging us a bit much there.
But like
Fucking
I can't imagine doing that for I want to get a specific word from you to make it sound like you're telling me to go Wesley Crusher, go brush your teeth or whatever it
But
is he's getting him to
it's
say.
so like I get that he's a kid, and I think he's supposed to be like mid-teens at this point, probably 14, 15.
Yeah.
It is so tragic that he's like sitting in his bedroom pretending that he's in on the bridge because he's not allowed on the bridge.
I'm such a smart little
Yeah.
boy. Why won't they let me on the bridge? I'm such a smart little boy. It's so sad.
It's awful, and they make and it's so they're trying to clearly trying to do the thing where they set up the MacGuffin earlier, right? But they make
Yeah.
such a big thing of the fact that he's built this
Yeah.
tractor beam, portable
Oh
tractor beam,
yes.
that you can't help but go, okay, well, that's good. I don't remember this episode, but that is very clearly going
Yeah.
to be the thing that saves
Here's my
everything.
handheld tractor beam. Oh no, I'm being sent away. That's fine. I've been in the scene long enough for you to know I have it.
Well, it's that. It's also
It's
like a
so
little.
yeah.
Again, it's a little bit later. Like Crusher's just like, oh, something's happening on the ship. You know, everything's about to get quite sexy. So you go to the quarters because you're too young for this, but then obviously he doesn't. But like,
Yes.
there's a lot of moments where you're like, okay, they're trying to get rid of Wesley because they can't really do this with a kid, and then oh no, he is the main character of this
Oh
episode
yeah,
somehow.
no. He is the villain of the episode, and honestly, by the time he becomes the villain, he gets a little more interesting. But yeah, so I for all the stuff I said about like the of course we said the of course the disabled character is the one to get the sad drunk moment. I do think that the sentence he says is at least beautifully written for a cliche sad disabled person line. Um, I want to see the world in shallow, dim, beautiful human ways. I'm like, a good line.
Well,
It's
I think it's
trashy as
yeah.
hell, but you put some poetry into
I
it.
think it's worth pointing out this is a DC Fontana episode. And she's a very good Star Trek writer,
Yeah,
but at this point in Star Trek, obviously Gene Roddenberry is still around, and he basically takes all the drafts away from the interns and rewrites them
yeah,
predominantly to put some sex in. So we can probably very safely assume, and no, I mean a little bit of shade to Roddenberry, but we can assume that the good bits of writing this are probably DC Fontana, and all the weird
yeah,
sex stuff is probably Gene Roddenberry. I imagine there's a much better episode
yeah,
of this
yeah.
somewhere.
I kept thinking during this, I was like, if you did this in like season 4 or something, sure, it would still be a slightly tacky concept, but even just knowing these characters a little better would help. You could do a version of this that could avoid some of the pitfalls with a slightly more experienced team. You could have done a version of this episode that I don't hate this much.
Well, I think there's a really interesting contrast between this episode and Cause and Effect, right? The Captain Fraser
Yeah,
episode. Because in that episode,
yes,
obviously we know who everyone is, but they're all kind of on it. They know how to solve
yeah,
problems, they know how to work together. And in this one, it's just nobody is doing the things they're supposed to be. Like, Picard is fucking
yeah,
useless in this episode. He's just sitting there
yeah,
going, oh, guys, don't. Oh, hang on. Shouldn't you be doing. And, like, he's not infected at this point. He's just
yeah.
completely worthless as a captain. He has
But
no
then, again,
authority.
that's it. They've done a terrible job at this point of establishing what the good attributes of these characters are, what they're good at, why they're the ones that we should be rooting for.
Yeah. And I think the thing that sums that up best is Data, because Data is just all over the place.
Yes,
Like, he's
he
throwing
is
it.
the autistic computer.
Yeah, well, he's smiling, which is not kind of a
Yeah.
thing. He's throwing out dirty limericks, which is
Yes, there once
100%
was a
Gene
woman from
Roddenberry.
Venus.
Yeah,
There
and
once was a woman from Venus.
it's just such like even for the 80s, it's a bad
Yeah.
gag of like we're not going to let you say penis on primetime TV.
Yeah. Well, the whole sex scene with Tasha Yar is the most not Data that it so tells you they don't know what they want to do with Data yet that he rocks up and he flips the switch because half this episode he's like, I'm an autistic supercomputer that doesn't know basic turns of phrase or why you would use them, and then the switch is flipped and he's like, I've been programmed with countless forms of attraction
No, I wrote this down.
and pleasure.
It's a broad
Ooh,
variety of pleasuring, and I can assure
yes.
you that if I said that to a woman, they would kill me. Right?
I
That wouldn't be a turn on for them. I'd be like, "What the fuck are you talking
yeah.
about, mate?"
If this was a later season episode, Data would be immune to the stuff that's going on, and he would be the voice of reason that's like trying to hold stuff together. Once Picard's been infected, etc. Like, I think that was a really easy get out of jail free card to not have Data be infected and to have someone who is like the foil to what's going on, someone who has a sustainable character
Well, no, I mean
trajectory
the
through the
perfect
episode. But
duo here is Data and Riker, right? So Data can't get
yeah,
infected. Riker is too naturally horny to be
yes,
impacted by this horny virus,
yeah,
and because Riker's actually quite good in this episode. He's the one who's keeping everything together. So it'd make more sense if you have those two just trying to work out what to do, maybe trying to get Crusher to get her shit together while also having to fend
yeah,
off all these horny people around them. But like just
yeah,
kind of wheel it back a bit again because we're talking about Natasha Yar, right?
yeah, yeah,
So again, Geordie is just allowed to wander around, right? So he's not.
yes,
She said, Crusher says we've got to keep him in for a little bit.
yeah,
In no way is he restrained. He could just walk out, and
yeah,
then somebody says, I can't remember who it was, but somebody says, yeah, like, oh, Deanna Troy says Natasha Yar's infected or is
Yeah.
impacted because she's trying to try on these horrible clothes that Troy owns.
Oh yeah,
It's like these
trying all these like
sheer
I don't think they're
scarves.
clothes. I think they're just pieces of fabric she's sort
Yeah,
of stretching over herself to be like, could this be a sarong?
yeah. But then, like, Natasha Yara is just allowed to, like, prowl the lower decks for dudes. Like,
Yeah.
there's
I
no restraining her. It's just she's just walking through, like, big butt shot because, like, this is directed by a dude, I guess.
yeah.
And then she's just like, first guy I see, gonna smash him. And then the very next scene we see her, that guy's gone, and like
Yeah.
Data takes his place. Like, I don't understand
Also,
the
and also
infection
like
protocol.
yeah. Also, I this is a complaint that like I know that I'm complaining about something that is not a textual issue. This is just my personal opinion. Um, it feels incorrect that Tasha is going and trying to have sex with all these men. That just doesn't feel canon to me. That's not my understanding of Tasha Yar, a character who I understand is canonically straight, but try saying that to any of the lesbians in my orbit.
Yeah, I mean, she's got the very like 80s lesbian haircut first,
It,
but second, right? So Data's sent to get her because no one knows where
yes,
she is. He walks in and
yeah,
she's got like this weird oiled curl in her hair
yeah.
and
This whole look is
so much
terrible.
underboob, and it's like the least
I,
attractive look you could give someone in this.
yeah,
But
no.
and and then goes on to describe all the rape gangs that she grew up around, and it feels really
Yeah.
inappropriate that.
Yeah. I don't know why she's trying to do like data and trying to talk you into sex. I'm gonna start by talking about like so here's what it was like when I was 5 years old. Is this a good start for sexy talk?
Well, but it's like she's trying to set up this idea that she wants tenderness and she wants
Yeah.
closeness, and it's like I don't know that's the kind of way to connect those two thoughts. Is like,
Yeah.
hey, Data, can you do sex? Rape gangs, be close to me.
Yeah. If everything about how they handled Tashiara in this episode is so terrible. Like that whole look, they make her look so much worse in their attempt to make her look sexy. It's not good.
But I
Ah,
in another episode that's better written, I would give them the benefit of the doubt that they've already established that Yar doesn't really know how to dress and
right.
present
But you
herself.
can't.
But you can't do that in this episode because it's
Yeah,
so
you can't do that
desultory.
this early.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. So yeah, we eventually get the reveal that like, oh, this happened on a Captain Kirk mission. It wasn't a collapsing star, but it's the same thing, except it's not. Here's the formula that worked to fix them, except it's not fixing them here. This whole plot thread is terrible. It's Captain Kirk found a formula that would fix this. We tried it and it didn't fix this. And then later on, it's, oh, I tweaked it a bit and now it does fix it. And there's no arc of like how big of a change it was or like what the journey was to for it to work now. It was like, well, it didn't work and now it does work. When we need it to work, it works. And when we've still got episode left, it doesn't work yet.
Yeah, I mean, it's so the issue here is gravity, right? I think you said that earlier.
Yeah.
There's a very easy solve here that Kirk was exploring like a collapsing planet, and they are
Yeah.
exploring a collapsing star. There is more gravity. There is a
Yeah.
greater issue here. That's what you work out. They don't do
Yeah.
that. They just have Crusher sit there going,
Yeah.
"Oh, I just gave it a bit of a tweak in between,
Yeah.
awkwardly
Or
flirting with Picard."
or yeah, there are so many things
We'll
that
get to
you could
that.
just have one sentence to make it work, but yeah. I found the point where they do make the one cocaine reference in the episode, which is referring to Tasha Yar as it seems our security chief has had the equivalent of a snootful.
They have a few of those like really anachronistic like phrases. That
Yeah,
the limerick is
it's
exactly the same. Whereas like surely you'd have better limericks in 200 years time, and like the
you would
same
think.
with that. That's such a like an 80s term for having a bit of a snort. It's it's a weird kind of
Yeah,
system they've set up around this illness. They don't really
yeah.
they have no control over it narratively. Um,
Mm. Oh, it's nearly time to talk about my favorite character in this episode, the one good character in this episode. So, Wesley Crusher comes up with his excuse to lock himself in the engineering bay. He uses his little talk boy to be like, both of the engineers, you should leave for various reasons. From the captain's voice, he says over the intercom, "Oh, it's me, Picard, and I'm giving control of the ship to Wesley Crusher. There's no passcode or anything on that. I did it." Um, and he locks himself in this room to basically be like, "No, you can't stop me controlling the ship." And he lets one person into his little force fielded uh anti-tracked beam little room he's got. And this is my favorite character. The assistant chief engineer who spends the entire rest of the episode saying no dialogue, pulling isolinear chips out of the wall, and like a toddler making like a tall stack of blocks, he's just stacking isolinear chips to make a big tower with a big goofy grin on his face. He's just like, yeah, making a little tower, yay!
I have no idea how that guy is in that job, because the first act he has in this episode is
Yeah,
Wesley saying, "Oh, why don't you leave me in charge of engineering?" And he just goes, "Yeah, no, that seems fine. I'm sure there are
sure.
no consequences to leaving a child in
Yeah.
charge of engineering."
Well,
And
the reason
that's
he,
before he seems
yeah,
ill. Like, he's just going like, "Yeah,
infected,
whatever."
yeah. But the reason he's my favorite character is I can't stop thinking watching this episode about the fact that he could have stopped Wesley at any point. He was in the room with like, he's supposedly the equivalent of drunk. At any point he could have gone, "Oh, he's faked being the captain to be in charge. I should probably do something about that. But I do have to finish building my little block of towers, little tower of blocks, though. I'm making a little tower." And I can't stop thinking about it the whole episode. It made me laugh so much.
He is a very joyful character, because like his whole interaction with Wesley is
Yeah,
just like, "Can I come in?" It's like, "No, no one can come in." It's like, "Oh, please, can I come in?" And he's
yeah,
like, "Okay, but I'm going to take over the ship." It's like, "Well, like,
yeah,
I'm loyal to you now, Wesley. Just give
yeah.
me the little
Can I come?
chippies."
Can I come in this secret clubhouse? I wanna come play. I don't want anyone to stop me playing with my little blocks.
I mean, I mentioned earlier that
Oh
like it's weird that everyone's horny, but like he was not horny. I mean, he was horny for
no,
isolated chips, I guess, but
no, that's it. He's the only other character who's not at all horny. He's just you left him in a ball pit and he's having a great time. I'm glad he's having such a good
I
day.
mean, he clearly hates his job. Like, his first
Oh yeah.
interaction with the ship once he gets drunk is to completely sabotage it. Like,
Yeah. And Wesley's his little cult he starts to try and do through the force field door. The first decree we hear from him is dessert before and after every meal, even breakfast. You get your meals from a replicator. I'm sure at breakfast time you could ask to replicate some dessert and then some oatmeal and then some dessert.
well,
I
I'm
don't think the replicator stops you doing
to be
that.
fair, his mother is a doctor, and I'm sure she's set up some sort of safeguard against that. I mean, which
Uh
leads me on to my next point, that surely there would be safeguards against someone being able to just assume control
yeah, I've been
from.
saying this. Like,
I appreciate
surely
he's
there's
got
like a
like voice codes or whatever
yeah.
from Picard, but still, it just feels like that it shouldn't be
Well,
so easy just to divert all
yeah.
control to.
Surely there should be a code that like isn't known by other people that rotates when you use it, or like you've got to be in the captain's chair, or otherwise like it's got to like surely it should be like hold down the captain's com badge while the captain says it or something.
Well,
There are so many really easy ways you could stop
I'm
this.
trying to remember when Wrath of Khan came out,
Yeah,
because in Wrath of Khan, that's the whole like MacGuffin at the end, is like
yeah,
we know every ship has a code that will let a captain into
yeah.
the controls. So surely Picard just has a code. He can go like, "No, I'm not having
Yeah.
this." Picard five
I
seven
mean,
two three, and it's like, okay, Picard's back in control.
we're,
Vent
we're
Wesley
so
into
not.
space.
Yeah. We're so not that far in the future, and 100% I could go on the internet and find a program to replicate someone's voice roughly well enough to steal the ship. Like, that's not future technology. You could have stitched that together with enough patience and a tape recorder. That should not be enough to defeat security.
So also at this point, this is when so the chief engineer is trying to get in, and Riker's off helping
Yeah.
her after he's touched Beverly. And So we're 2/3 of the way into the episode, and Beverly shouts after him, not particularly convincingly, like very much like Picard. She's just kind of, "Oh no, oh god, don't go, no." But she says, "Oh, I have to quarantine you," and it's like it's taken 2/3 of an episode to mention the word quarantine
Yeah.
during an outbreak. Like, what is this ship doing? I like Picard's
Uh,
so dismissive of the risk, and he's just like, "Don't
yeah.
worry about it." And then when it becomes a problem, he's like, "Ah, fuck, I might have goofed there, but." Whatever, I'm still fine. And then like Picard, what does Picard start doing? I can't remember. I think it's just that Beverly rocks up and says, "I need to talk to you about a private matter,"
It's urgent. It's
with
very
ruffled
important.
hair, and
Yeah.
the urgent personal matter is that she wants to get boinked, but there's no
I
time.
will. Yeah, I will debate that. I think she is trying to get up there legitimately to go, no, 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 I'm infected. There's no time. Like, I'm trying to give you the update. I do also want to fuck you, but I am, like, trying my best to hold that in. Um, what is the sound that Picard makes during this scene that I have written down in my script as.
It's literally like it's like he's awkwardly clearing his throat, but he can't clear his throat. It's so
No,
weird, and it's like
I don't know what it is. Is it a laugh? Is it a cough? I don't know.
yeah, it's so bad because like that whole scene is just so weird. It's like oh, so like Worf's sitting there going like there's some strange readings from the star.
Yeah,
Picard's like, I've got to talk to this drunk kid instead. And then Crusher turns up. He's like, okay, well, look, we've got a real issue on the ship. Everyone's kind of incapacitated, but I have to go
yeah,
and just fuck my dead best friend's wife quickly. So I guess everyone else just hold down the fort. I'm going to go have a really awkward conversation, which feels like it's Gene Roddenberry trying to write a 50s romance scene because they're so like, oh,
yeah.
dear Captain, oh, you will call
Oh
me
no, I
the
simply
Doctor.
mustn't.
Yeah.
Oh,
And then she is like, so I think she's trying to communicate this idea that she can't cure the thing, that something's happened, but
yeah,
she's too busy getting horny. And then she just walks up to
yeah.
him really close and he goes, it's
It,
like,
yeah, it does almost sound a little like maybe he's going to need to go change his trousers afterwards. That sound.
yeah,
It's a lot.
but not in a good
I do
way. Like in a, it
know.
really, really does sound like he's just shit himself.
Yeah.
And then,
I do, however, love the line he says when she's like getting her tits out and saying she's lonely, and he's just like, "No, not now, Doctor, please." He's like having to force out this like, I really want to say yes, but I'm trying to be the captain. I'm not doing good.
but then, so they come out and
Yeah,
everyone's a bit like, what the fuck is happening? Because they're having this conversation with the door open. And then that
yeah,
wave when she's off, and he's like, "Oh, but it's so it's so weird."
uh,
And then because this
yeah.
episode is so all over the place, she leaves, and then like a drunk, sexed up Data, who I find delightful by the
Oh,
way, just turns up, leans on the door, is like, "Hey
yeah.
guys, guess what I just did?"
He's
Or guess who
he's
I just
so
did?
he's so proud to have had sex. It's so out of character, but I do love it. Just like someone installed pride in sex as an emotion onto him. He's like, "Oh, look what I learned.
Well,
I can
yeah, but
feel." Ha ha.
it's not just that because like obviously there's this awkwardness around him having sex with Tasha that it's like okay, so you've never
Yeah.
had to deploy this subroutine before, but he comes in and it's like it's such a I've just had sex for the first time aura, isn't it? It's such a like
Yeah.
yeah. Guess I just had sex for the first time. I'm human now, Picard. If you prick me, do I
I
not leak?
oh, forget looking for a needle in a haystack. I found something else somewhere else. Oh,
Oh, that also quite annoyed me because, like, firstly, that's a really cliched idiom, and then Data's like,
yeah,
"Oh, why would someone do that?" And like the smile he
yes,
gives when he really smarmily says, "Oh, a human
yeah,
proverb." Like, it's like all these
yeah.
characters are all over the only consistent character in this episode for me is Worf.
I would say Wesley Crusher. I think Wesley Crusher is kind of consistent.
I don't know because I feel like very quickly they move away from him being kind of pathetic because I feel like Wesley in the first few episodes is what Jake was in Deep Space Nine for like two
Yeah.
seasons.
I here's the thing. I do think that like he is pathetic in the start. I think that the way he is after he's infected is consistent with like, oh, he is his inhibitions have gone, and he is now acting on his biggest insecurities. His like the way he acts after infection tells you something about his character that I think is a consistent thing that you learn something that still makes sense with his character going forward.
I do
Like
appreciate
you
they
give him
don't.
an
Yeah,
opportunity to feel less pathetic, and he'll grab it with both hands.
I do appreciate that they never really do anything creepy with his drunkenness,
Yeah,
and he
agreed.
is arguably the only character who can kind of, apart from Riker, because like Riker doesn't care,
Yeah,
who can break through it to kind of go, no, no, there's some science to do. Um,
yeah. Uh, he does. Talking about his characterization, the engineer gets his force field down, and they're trying to have a go at Wesley for pulling all the chips out of the wall. He is so quick to weaponize his childhoodness in that. His line, no, it was an adult that did that. Like he's so quick to be like, oh, now that I'm in trouble, I don't want to be in charge anymore. Other people did things. I'm not in trouble. I'm just a little child,
well, he's
please.
also the one who suggests that Data is going to be able to solve the
Yeah.
problem ish. Um, but yeah, it is full on. I let the adult in the room, and the adult made all the problems. I was just, playing with my track
I was
speed
just
and
being an
my
innocent little
little
child. You can't be mad at
my little
me.
Picard mix. Like,
Yeah. Also, we should acknowledge the sun's exploded at this point, and we've
yeah, the
got
sexy
a
star's
problem
gone.
coming.
It's blown
The
up.
sexy star's gone. Most of it's gone. A quote chunk of the sun was coming toward them. It looks like it's a lump of burning rock that has broken off of this ball of presumably gas. It's a bit weird.
I look.
Um,
It's the 80s. Like, did we?
yeah.
Maybe we didn't even know the sun was a real thing. For all we know, like, yeah, I
I,
do wonder whether that's a hangover of the Naked Time, the TOS episode where it was a planet, because
yeah.
like we shouldn't be seeing a rocky sun.
No.
I suppose if you want to be very charitable, and I don't, you could say it's a bit of the other ship, but I don't think it had blown up at that point, had it? I think they push it
No, it
into
had
the
not.
rock,
No.
the rocky
Yeah.
sun. Um,
Um, But yeah, this is where Wesley has his real Mary Sue sequence of being the smartest one on the ship. Oh, big science brain child. Uh oh, if my repulsor were 100 times stronger, or I could just use the real thing. Oh, there's no way to reprogram that quickly. Oh, just see it in your head like I do. It's so absolutely pathetic writing.
it's well, it is. It's also that at no point does Riker pick up that thought. He's like, oh, if only
Yeah.
my repulsor was 100 times bigger. Then again, in a later episode, Riker go, hang on, Wesley, you're onto something there, mate. It would be Riker who would say something, but
Yeah.
no, it's the chief engineer who I do not recognise that lady at all.
No, neither do I. I don't recognize either of these engineering
Yeah, well, because
people.
in the early episodes, the Tom from Gilmore Girls is the chief engineer,
Oh,
like the guy with the
yeah,
beard, and
huh.
then
Yeah,
in this episode, it's this lady whose entire role appears to just be look a bit matronly and annoyed at Wesley Crusher, and
yeah,
then she's that bit in A New Hope, not to bring Star Wars into this, where
yeah.
like that guy is all like, oh, that hole's too small to shoot something into, and Luke Skywalker's like really snarky, like, no, I used to shoot Womp Rats in my T16
Oh,
back
yeah,
home,
yeah,
and it's
yeah.
such like a like if someone said that to me, I'd be a bit like, "Fuck off, mate!" Like, it felt like that. Where
Yeah,
Wesley's just like, "Why
yeah,
don't you just see it in your head, like me? Isn't
yeah.
that how
Why
everyone
don't
is
you?
like?"
Why don't you simply? Because you joked about the fact that it was ridiculous for the engineers to leave Wesley in charge. Honestly, the way this episode is written, maybe it wasn't ridiculous to leave him in charge. He apparently is a better engineer than all the adults because he's Wesley Crusher. He can do everything. Blah blah blah.
I mean, that's why the weird bald alien abducts him, and
Yeah,
which is apparently
yeah.
framed as a good thing because he's like
To
he's
go be a
so smart.
time traveling smarty pants
Yeah, to
boy.
go be a bit of a reference in Picard.
Yeah.
There's the drive-by
Uh
for the episode. Okay, but
yeah.
so they do that. They're in trouble. Wesley saves the day, and at the same
Yeah.
time, so Picard's gone to sick bay for some reason. I guess to just sniff out some tail, And
Yeah.
he meets up with Crusher, and Crusher's like, "I'm going to do something, but I'm so distracted by how hot you are. What was it? Oh, oh no, I remember. I'm going to go test this on Geordie." So they test the new, completely
Yeah.
unexplained cure on Geordie,
Yeah.
right? And it works. Great.
Oh,
What do they do next? They all share needles,
yeah, they
right? Like
do.
she doesn't change the
Oh,
hyper spray. She just injects herself and she's Picard.
oh,
It's like even okay, even in the future, this feels a bit shaky. Like, and then she just hands the same hyper spray to someone else and goes, "Take
yeah.
this to engineering." And it's like,
Also, also around the end here of the episode, it feels really mean that the only person we see say anything negative about their temporary sexual attraction is Tasha going to Data just to go, I will say this once, this never happened. I'm like, look, that didn't come out of nowhere. You were inebriated, but like, don't be mean. Let Data have the win.
well, there's kind of two things for that because obviously later when spoilies, Natasha Yar gets
Yeah.
done in by some tar. He
Yes.
has like a hollow image of her, and he's like clearly still pining for her.
Yeah.
Second, so we kind of follow what everyone's doing. You know, Deanna
Yeah.
has to get carried out because she's horny for Riker again. We don't see Natasha Yar after she's had sex with Data, and so like, is she just out there just smashing everybody in the background? Like, is because surely, like, given what we've
Yeah.
seen of her, she's kind of a bit down bad for anything at this point. Is she? Have they just left
Yeah.
her to her own devices on the lower decks? Just like,
I could not say. Um, Also, this episode is maybe the only episode of Star Trek I can point to that ends with a so here's what we learned on this very special episode, like to camera declaration of what is the plot of the episode, which is Picard just going, what we've learned today is we shall be a fine crew if we can resist temptation. Wink.
well, it's also just like all of this just happened. There is going to be a lot of baggage to unpack in that crew because
Yeah.
everybody's been fucking, and he's just like,
But don't
time to
yeah,
move on
don't worry about it.
to the racism
We'll
planet.
we'll be great together as long as we can resist fucking.
Well, I guess
Yeah.
everybody clearly had a lot of chemistry.
Yeah.
I guess that's part. But I think this is and I want to tee you up for one of your points here. Is I think this is a real kind of signifier of just how bad a lot of season one Star Trek is. Like this is
Yeah.
I have spoken a lot about a lot of my criticisms of Star Trek are about waste, right? Wasted potential,
Yeah.
wasted ideas.
Yeah.
This isn't that. It just sucks, and
Yeah.
it's really indicative of season one Star Trek being kind of bad. And I know
Yeah.
you want to talk about that, so have at it.
Yeah. Look, season one Star Trek, regardless of what Star Trek you're watching, tends to have this problem, and it's different every time. It's not consistent the ways in which it's bad. Uh, Star Trek seems to have this huge problem of uh wanting to establish its entire ensemble at once, but also in ways that can like awkwardly jam up the plot. They sometimes don't know what they're doing with characters, and they go, "Oh, we'll work out the right. We'll as we're acting them, we'll learn who the characters are in a way that like retroactively makes earlier episodes feel pretty weak." Um, in some of the longer Star Treks where you have those like 20 plus episode first seasons, um, you get a lot of we don't have a firm direction of where we're going, so we're throwing spaghetti at the walls in many regards, and a lot of ideas just will not land. Um, and some of these issues are apparent the first time you watch through. Some of them are not apparent until you've seen where they're going, and you go, "Oh, this did not set that up at all well." There's so many different ways that it ends up manifesting, but yeah, anytime I see season one of a Star Trek, I'm gonna go, this is probably not gonna be the show putting its best foot forward. It's not to say there can't be good season one episodes, but season one of a Star Trek is always gonna be where it's the proving ground. It's the we're working out what this show needs to be as we go, and by season two we'll come in with a stronger sense of that. we definitely don't have it day one of shooting.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of season one kind of syndrome often comes from how much are we going to rely on what's come before, right? And so you
Yeah.
look at, for me, like the season ones that are pretty good. Deep Space Nine. I think Voyager had a pretty solid season one, but iffy in places.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought Academy was a really strong season one, but for a few
Yeah.
iffy episodes, like there was one real stinker, and then there's a couple, including Series Acclamation Mill, which felt a bit like they weren't quite there, so to speak. I do think there's a lot of, if you look at Enterprise, for instance, they basically said we're not going to pay attention to any Star Trek before, and they end up with this horrible
Yeah.
apolitical, meaningless, empty Star
Yes.
Trek. You look at something like Discovery, which I think had a pretty decent first season, but
Yeah.
didn't rely on reference as much
Yeah.
to the point that everyone got upset about the visuals of it, and they had to kind of
Yeah.
reel that back. And then you look at this, and it's so we don't know how much the original series
Yeah.
we have to leave behind because this is
Yeah.
such an original like down to
Yeah.
like some of the camera shots, the musical
Mm.
stings. It's
They
so the original series.
Yeah, that musical bit I was talking about feeling really out of place with opening the shower and the dead body falling out. That is such a original series musical choice to have made. And yeah, there is this season one of TNG really has this issue of, do we want to be a soft reboot, a fresh entry point, or a almost point to point remake? Like, are we remaking this with better graphics for a younger audience? Are we spiritually redoing that? And we're going to follow it relatively closely as we go, but like a little different. Is it its own new thing? They really don't know what they want this to be.
Yeah, and
And this episode is a great reference to that.
yeah, and it's again worth reiterating that Gene Roddenberry is still around, right? So he's bringing a lot of the original series in the 1960s to this. There's a
Mm.
lot of we're not quite understanding that it's been 20 years, or well, it's probably been about 15 years at this point since the last Star Trek, and things have changed. And I think Encounter at Farpoint sets up a slightly more modern, different, more appropriate for the 80s Star Trek, and
Mm.
then it immediately just
Yeah.
falls right back into 1960s Star Trek. And I think again, like when you look at stuff like Deep Space Nine, say something like Strange New Worlds and Academy, you have
Mm.
we've already had a series, not just a season, but a series that's established how Star Trek works in this era. So we've got a better foundation.
Mm.
Whereas TNG just has nothing, and it's just we don't know how to break away from the original series. Partly because Gene Roddenberry is going to be stepping in and doing a lot of editing of these episodes, but also
Yeah.
because we're just so beholden to some of the stylistic choices, and we haven't quite got that. Like the set isn't there yet. I mean, like the green glow on
Yeah.
Data's face just it's
Yeah.
not something you'd see down the line. None of the characters are in place. Um, and again, like you say, I think if this was Robert Justman said that this should have been the first episode of Next Generation, by the way. But if this was a season 4 episode, it still wouldn't have been a good episode. But you could at least maybe
You
you'd have a better
you could have
foundation.
made a better season four episode out of this, or at the very least, putting it in season four wouldn't have been such a damaging to TNG place to put it.
Yeah,
Having this be so early on, I really don't think set TNG up well.
bearing in mind also like the very next episode after
Yeah.
this is the Natasha Yar being captured by essentially
Oh god.
stereotypical
Yeah.
African tribe on a planet. Like
Yeah.
really, really problematic. I think this is also the series that has like the weird Han Solo
Oh,
facsimile.
I'm pretty
I
sure it
th-
is.
he
Yeah.
like I think his name's like Dash or something, and it's
Yes.
so obvious that they're trying to like they really don't know what they are
Yeah.
yet.
No, they really don't. Should we spin that wheel and see where we're going next?
Yeah, let's spin the wheel and hope that our
Let's
our run of good episodes isn't completely lost.
Right, let's spin the wheel and see what we're getting.
It'd be really funny if it's the naked time. Oh, it's Voyager.
Oh, A season
The
7
final
Voyager
season of
episode,
Voyager. Jeez. Like,
Drive. Do we know anything about this episode?
oh, I don't because I haven't watched Voyager for like a decade.
Give me a second to pull this one up. Okay, Drive. Let's have a look quickly. Um,
Oh, it's a
Tom
Harry Kim
Paris
episode.
and yeah, Harry Kim are in the Delta Flyer. Paris is piloting. I don't remember this episode.
Yeah, this.
Ontarian rally course. Oh, this is the one where Torres breaks up with Paris.
Okay, I mean, like that means nothing to
Okay.
me, Laura. Like,
No, I remember some of this. This is not a big plot episode. It does have some really goofy. This has some really goofy stuff in it. I don't remember this episode well enough to know whether it's good or bad. So this will be fun.
well,
I
it's an episode
remember
that
some.
prominently features Harry Kim. I think it's going to be a bit like half and half, probably.
It's a lot of Tom Parrish being Tom Parrish very dramatically. Uh, well, this is, I think, of all the episodes we've rolled, the one that I have genuinely the least idea what to expect out of. I remember this maybe the least out of any Star Trek episode.
Yeah, I mean, again, you know, I'm the wrong person to ask about Voyager. I have no idea. I do not remember any Voyager apart from the one where Janeway and Paris are lizards or something.
Well, I look forward. Look, it's a late season. It's a late season Voyager. I feel like that means it's probably going to be all right. We'll see. Maybe I'm going to have to defend some more not particularly great Voyager.
Well, this will be good, right? Because I've convinced you that Deep Space Nine is the best Star Trek
Yeah.
already, completely by luck because we keep rolling that. So this will be your opportunity to really say, yeah, okay, forget the Harry Kim episode we did. This is
Here's a
what
different Harry
shows
Kim
that
episode.
actually Voyager and Harry Kim are
I
good.
the fact that I
That's your
don't remember
challenge.
this episode tells me this probably isn't going to be the one to convince you that Voyager's good. Also, we've still not had original series or any of the new ones. This wheel is so zapped in on like the middle of Star Trek.
I would really like if our first original series is like one of the films or one of the
Oh,
animated series.
I'd kind of be into that.
Yeah.
And look, the point's gonna have to come where someday we just spin that wheel until it gives us a new season, but not
today.
today.
Not today.
We'll see what that
Voyager's
Voyager
enough
is.
of a break from the recent pattern, which has literally
Yeah,
just been Deep Space Nine and
it's
TNG.
it's late season Voyager. That means it's not season 1 TNG or another Deep Space Nine episode. I'll take it.
Yep.
Uh, Good place for us to wrap up. Jeffrey, people should go check out stuff you've written. You posted a thing a little while ago by the time people see this, but people should go check that out. What did you write and where can people read it?
So I wrote about discrimination in the gaming accessibility community,
Yeah,
and as with
fun
everything
light
I do,
topics.
just really
Yeah.
delightful and not at all the bleakest thing I've written. And like
No,
everything I do, you can actually just find it on jeffreybunting.co.uk.
it's so easy to find all the stuff you do, right?
Yes, because I don't exist anywhere else. I
Yeah.
don't want to be on the internet.
Look, it's a heavy read, but as someone who contributed some words and thoughts to it, it's I think an important read. One that has been looking for a home for a while. Sorry, I just had to dodge a moth. It's been looking for a home for a while, and I'm glad it's out there because it needed doing. So go give that a read. Uh, what have I got to promote at the moment? By the time this goes up, check out Accessibility over on YouTube. Control Alt Access. It goes up on the Thursdays that this isn't going up. Me and Arev here talk about video game accessibility. You can go to laurakbuzz.com and you can read some in-character mission logs that I've written about some of Bridge Command's new frontline missions. If you want to hear Laura's stories of fictional space adventures, you can go check those out. Everything I do is at Patreon. Patreon.com/LauraKBuzz. You can check out all of the things that I happen to do. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching. We'll have another of these for you in a couple of weeks. Bye!
Bye.